up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have a get ready with me featuring the Carli Bybel MBH Cosmetics Deluxe Edition eyeshadow palette. I don't want this intro to be too long, so if you guys are interested in seeing how to achieve this look, then please keep watching, and at the end you guys will hear my review and first impressions and opinion on the palette. I'll also have a timestamp in the description bar in case you're here just for one part. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so starting off with a transition shade, I'm taking the first shade in the palette, and it picked up quite a lot, so I had hoped that it was going to be pigmented, but you can barely see it when I put it in. It's very faint, so this is my second time building. So now I'm going in with the brown shade and a BH Cosmetics fluffy brush. I'm just going to try and build that up. As you can see, I didn't really get any pigmentation really. So I'm going to go in for the second time, and you guys will see I had a little bit of color, but I should have definitely had more after using two eyeshadows that look so pigmented. Now I was taking the red shade, and I'm putting that on my outer V with an e.l.f. blending brush, and it did pack on pretty nice at first, but it just became really hard to blend out because it is so patchy. So I went in with my Morphe blending brush, and then I used my Wet n Wild blending brush, or crease brush, whatever, to blend that out furthermore. Now I'm just cutting my crease with my NYX First Eye Base and taking that pink shade right there and just popping that onto my lid. It did go on really well. At first I was like, maybe I should spray my brush, but I wanted to see how it would perform without wetting my brush, and as you can see, it really popped. So imagine wetting your brush, it would look so metallic and so beautiful. Now I'm just going in and blending out the edges. So now we're going to move on to the face. As you guys can see, my foundation was way too light. It is the summertime. I got dark. I've been at the beach. So I had to go in with a slightly darker concealer. So I went into my Sephora Pantone Universal palette, and I picked that shade to conceal, and I'll be cream bronzing with that shade. It's so beautiful. I've been so into cream bronzing lately, so I'm just going to apply that all over my face, under my eyes, center of my forehead, bridge of my nose, under my contour, and then I'm going to spray what is this, Mario Badescu facial spray. I think this is the aloe one, and blend that out with a beauty blender. After cream contouring, especially with creams, it can kind of get a little too thick after sitting on your face and be too matte, which is not good for dry skin. So I just recommend going in with some facial spray just to loosen everything up and make it blend really seamlessly. And then I'm just going to set under my eyes using the shade in the ABH contour kit, and then set my entire face. And then to set my contour, I'm using the last shade in the ABH contour kit that I always use. For highlight, I was so surprised how pigmented it came up, and I didn't even pick up a lot on my brush, so this golden highlight is definitely bomb. I can definitely see myself reaching for it a lot. Now for blush, I'm just going to go ahead and use this blush from the e.l.f. blush palette in dark, just to blend my highlight and contour together so it doesn't look too stark. Now to finish off the eyes, I'm just going to use that white highlight in my inner corners so my eyes can really pop. And for some reason, when I filmed on my phone, the last video didn't export. So for my lips, I use the NYX Lip Lingerie. I'll have the shade linked down below for you guys. So that wraps up on how to do this look. Pretty easy, pretty simple. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the review and my opinions on it. So I'm going to be talking about the shadows that I used today. So the first shadow I went in with today was this shadow right here. I thought it would be a nice transition color. I usually gravitate more towards warm colors, like warm burnt oranges, but I was like, okay, let me use this because I just wanted to use shadows from the palette, which I did use one shadow that wasn't in there, and I explained why. But when you swatch this shadow right here, you think it's going to be super pigmented. It looks a little, chalky and like it could possibly be ashy. But I thought once I put on the NYX base that makes shadows pop even more to prime my eyes, then I would be okay. But that wasn't the case. It looked ashy. It didn't show up. As you could see, it took a lot of building to get it to where I want it to be. And I feel like that's the problem that I run into. Especially when you are medium to dark complexions, then you have trouble with shadows showing up as pigmented as they do on more fair skin tones, and that's exactly the problem that I ran into with this palette. And that's what I run into a lot with shadows, that they look so pigmented but then they don't show up as well on medium to dark skin tones, which is the problem. And then the second shadow I went in with was this muted brown shade, which is pretty nice. When I swatch it, this is what it looks like. Where is it? It's right there. I feel like I should have used this as my transition shade just because it's closer to my skin tone. But then again, I wasn't sure on how these shadows were going to perform on my eye, and they swatched so good, so I just took a chance. But overall, the eye look did come out great. So yeah, the brown shadow was okay. It took a lot of building up. I can definitely see me using this more as a transition shade, and the first shade I used to just set the concealer or base, whatever I used to prime my eyes. And then the third shadow, I did have a little bit of difficulty blending it out. You guys saw me use at least 2 or 3 different blending brushes to get it blended out and look seamless and nice. And that's because it is a satin shadow, and satin eyeshadows can be very hard to work with. They're not exactly matte and they're not shimmer, so it's really difficult to work with that kind of formula, especially if you're blending it out. I can see this would be nice all over the eye if you're doing a smoky eye. I feel like it'd be really pretty, but as far as in the crease, I don't recommend it, especially a shadow this dark. That can be very hard to blend out and can get very messy very quick. So on the outer V, it's okay. It just takes a lot of blending if you're okay with that. And then the last shadow I used was this pink eyeshadow, and it's absolutely stunning. As you guys can see, it just pops so much. All I did was use the NYX base. I didn't wet my brush at all, and it packed on so beautifully, so I really did like that. And then as far as the highlights, I only used this one right here, but swatch, the highlights look really pretty, and when I applied it, it came out just as pigmented, so I do have hope for the highlighters. And I also used this white one in my eye, so again, they swatched super pigmented, showed up really pigmented on my skin, because obviously the formulas are a different formula than the matte eyeshadows, so I was happy with that. I think it's just so beautiful. Like, look at it, poppin'. So overall, I'm gonna have to give this palette an 8 out of 10, just because the shadows did not perform like they do on other skin tones, and I feel like they should. I have single eyeshadows from Anastasia, ColourPop, and Coastal Scents, and they perform just as well as they do on fair skin tone on mine, and darker, which I've seen and, you know, other YouTube. So that's why I have to give this an 8 out of 10. These shimmer shadows are stunning. I did only use one, but I hope the other ones will perform as well. I will keep you guys updated when I film my June favorites of the month. If this is in there, well, it will be in there. I'll tell you if it was a product I regret buying for the month, or if it's something that changed my mind and how I feel about it. So I will keep you guys updated next week. That video will be up. Alright guys, so that's gonna wrap up my get ready with me / first impression on the Carli Bybel and BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I really hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me. I am absolutely obsessed with this eye look. And also make sure you subscribe if you want to see my June favorites next Saturday, and well, this Saturday, and see my final thoughts on the Carli, upside down, on the Carli Bybel palette and any other looks that I created. I will post for you guys, of course. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing my final thoughts, make sure you subscribe. That video will be up on Saturday, July 1st. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!